Hi, Paul Sakis, Good News Broadcast, speaking to Dave Arland. Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing well, Paul. How are you?
Okay, good. We're going to talk about this new digital, potentially a dilemma for some and not for everyone. 3 easy steps to solve the digital dilemma. We have 1 month left, I guess, before we're going to go to this digital switch. Well, let me give just a refresher situation here. Well, what are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about a change in the way that broadcast television has been sent. In 1939, the first over-the-air broadcast signals went out in New York, and really it's been the same method for sending TV until the invention of digital television about a decade ago. And now, in mid-February, the government's going to force all of the broadcasters in America, there's 1,600 different stations, to switch off their analog channels and stay on the air with digital. So we want to make sure everybody's prepared.
The channels want to do it. they get more channels.
Well, they get more channels. They also, it costs less because they don't have to run both an analog and a digital transmitter, and so the electricity bill is going to go down too.
Plus, it's a gorgeous picture.
It is a gorgeous picture, and another benefit for consumers and viewers is that many broadcasters are sending multiple channels at the same time, which you can do with digital. You can compress and send more information in the same space. So it's quite common in a market to have a public broadcaster running 3 different public TV programs at the same moment, and then the commercial broadcasters typically will send their main network feed as well as a news channel and perhaps a weather channel too.
Okay, well, I've been in this since 1939. Broadcasting.
It feels like it, I'm sure.
I got my 37 years in doing making TV shows, and so it's actually quite exciting, and the future of it is very good. But so now, what happens to somebody? We actually had the Assistant Secretary of Commerce here, and we did a show entirely on this subject some time ago. But now there's a month to go, and not everybody possibly is prepared. Is that so?
Yeah, that's right. I think we're coming down to the short strokes, and we know that there are about 20 million households in America that rely on a terrestrial television antenna to get their signals in some way. You know, it may be that you've got cable TV, but you've got 1 or 2 sets in the house that have rabbit ears. Mm-hmm. I know that's my situation. I happen to have satellite, but the set that's on the most is the one that's in the kitchen, and that relies on rabbit ears.
Okay.
Or it may be that you just don't want to pay for TV, and there are millions of people who don't, who just have a regular antenna for watching TV. And we want to make sure those people get converted. Okay,
so what does somebody have to do?
What they should do is go out and get a Zenith converter box. It's a very inexpensive device. It costs about $60. And you can connect your antenna to the box and connect the box to the TV. You run a channel scan, and within about a minute, you're getting excellent digital quality programming, not only a better looking picture, but also more channels.
Does the government still have that rebate, or is that over?
Well, they've run out of money, and so Congress may appropriate some more money to help them. The Commerce Department does have a wait list right now. You can call them and get on or you can go to their website and get on their list. The phone number is 1-888-DTV-2009. And right now they've got about 2 million people on the wait list. I think eventually they will send out coupons to those folks, but it's not going to be by mid-February.
Okay. There was even some question that mid-February might not become mid-February, that they might push it back a month, I heard somewhere. I read somewhere.
That is possible, too. Congress may give them more money and then also push this out a few weeks, but at the end of the day, there's no reason to wait until the deadline. We really are encouraging people to go out, buy a Zenith converter box, get it connected. A lot of folks have purchased the box, but they haven't bothered to connect it yet. We found that out when there was one market in the United States, in Wilmington, North Carolina, that went all digital in September. And most of the calls that came in to the FCC after this happened were not people who didn't know about it. In fact, it was people who'd already bought a box, and they just hadn't bothered to connect it. So people do that.
Let me ask you a question on that, because that has come up in a family member. They if they connect it right now, what'll happen?
They'll get a perfect digital signal, and in fact, we're asking people to go ahead and do that. Now is the time to get it out of the box, connect your antenna to it. You may be in a situation where you need a new antenna, because digital signals are more finicky than analog, They're more like a cell phone. They either work perfectly or they don't work at all.
Now, so because this person did plug it in and it didn't work, it wasn't a Zenith one. I don't know what it was, to be honest. So, but the point is that they said that they couldn't get a picture. So now you're saying that if your rabbit ears aren't good, there might be a concern?
Well, yeah, it could be that they need a different kind of antenna. Some antenna manufacturers have actually developed digital TV antennas that are optimized for this spectrum, so that might be an answer. Of course, the rule with antennas is it's always best to be big and high. So if you have the luxury of having one, even an old one that's outdoors, those will probably work just fine to pick up the signals. But it also depends on where the transmission is coming from. And in some markets, the digital transmitter is located, an antenna is located in a different place than analog.
Now, if somebody has cable, that's automatic, right?
Yeah, you'll be fine with cable. The only thing to be concerned about is, do you have cable in every room? And cable is not, however, picking up all of the multicast channels, all of the channels the local broadcasters are sending. Typically, they're just picking up the main network feed.
Okay. And what do you do over there at Zenith?
Well, I help them to promote this kind of product to make sure people are converted. And our biggest concern is not so much people who listen to this program who are very internet savvy. It's really folks who are elderly. And we're encouraging people to check on their grandparents, check on their aunts and uncles, check on people that you know from church or other social groups, or maybe even your neighbors.
Right.
Just to make sure everyone is ready, whether that date of February 17th sticks or not, at some point this spring, analog TV is going to be turned off. Right.
No, I think that's a very realistic and a very true thought. The fact is that there's a safety issue here because television is such an immediate, not that radio is not so great, but they're both great medias. But if you've been a TV watcher and you're used to the snow thing, what's happening that day or so on and so forth, it's important to be connected, right?
Absolutely, and it is important to go ahead and make that conversion now. You don't need to wait until the old signals get turned off. You can go digital right away.
Also, so you have some nice things on a website here called Zenith.com, right?
Zenith.com/DTV, and on that, actually, two fun videos. One is a short 60-second how to convert your box or how to connect your box to the TV. So
right.
You can see in very simple terms how that's done.
And
then also there's a fun little video we did with a woman in Chicago, a teacher, and she and her husband have like 7 or 8 televisions in their house, and they all rely on antennas. They didn't want to pay anybody for TV. So it's the story of her old 1972 Zenith TV, and she didn't want to drag it to the curb. So
I love it. It's a lot of people forget that these are public airwaves, and in at least the major broadcasters are it's public. So this network, the CBS I was on or whatever it was, these networks are public. And in fact, if you don't like what's on, you can write to the FCC and say, I don't like what's on.
We'd love to hear from you. They actually do get a lot of complaints, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a very public thing. They have the each time they don't just own them. It's the public airs. This is great stuff. Well, Zenith is a great company. It's a very outward in the sense of doing good for the community. I happen to know you guys for a long time, so congratulations. And this just sounds like another outreach that a good professional company does. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.